You have a constitutional right to travel. That's true. You don't have a constitutional right to drive a car with no driver's license. So people come in with this half-cocked, cockamamie, jabberwocky idea that they're their own country. And
oh boy. Today on Daily Courtroom Drama, we got a shorter docket with two very different defendants, but one of them definitely stands out. We'll start with the traffic-related case involving no valid license and improper registration. When the defendant tries to lean on the idea of right to travel, the judge quickly shuts that down with a reality check. Then we move into disorderly conduct case involving alcohol, a long walk home that didn't go as planned, and a defendant who ended up spending several days in jail before even getting to court. But the real focus here is in the first case. The back and forth between the defendant and the judge turns into a moment where the court makes it very clear there's a difference between beliefs and how the law actually works. And the way the judge handles it is something you don't see every day. If you want to see more judges like this, make sure to like and subscribe, but let's go ahead and get on into it.
Doc Levice Scott, would you come right up to the podium, please? Give me the top copy of your advice of rights. Right, the thing in your hand. Bring that right up to me. Good morning, sir. This is file number.
You know, right off the bat, it's kind of a weird thing to say, I guess, but right off the bat, the judge has such a demeanor that he doesn't care who you are. Come approach him. He'll tell you to come up, and he doesn't have a problem with that. He seems super comfortable in knowing that he's not going to do anyone wrong. He's going to follow the law as it's written and try to make sure that everyone gets the best out of the situation. That's the way I see him. Never seen this judge before. Let's see how he reacts with the first one.
Number 231435OT. It's a White Pigeon ordinance case. Your name is Jacques Scott?
Yes.
You got a ticket in White Pigeon on July 29th for no valid operator's license and no registration plate. I got an email from the White Pigeon Village attorney, Mr. Seth Coaches. He emails the court every Monday afternoon regarding the Tuesday morning White Pigeon cases. And it's very helpful. So let's talk about this. The charge, no valid operator's license, is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $100. Carries 2 points on your driver's license and goes on your driving record. You're also charged with having an improper registration plate, which is a civil infraction that carries a $120 fine. Mr. Coaches emailed me yesterday, and he's willing to dismiss both of these charges for a plea to a lesser charge called allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code. That one is a kind of a strange charge. It carries no points. It doesn't go on your driving record, and it won't affect your ability to continue to work on getting your driver's license. However,
That is a great deal. That reminds me a lot of a ticket in the state I'm from. Waste of finite resource. Basically, the cop pulled you over, had a quick warning with you. It was enough that you needed a ticket, but not enough to hurt your license or anything like that. Basically, all it is they had to spend gas dealing with you. It's nice to see other states have that.
or it is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $100. The normal fine is $100 plus costs. The other charges would be dismissed. The public defender, Mr. Keith Stickley, has joined us. He's available for any consultation for anyone if needed. But Mr. Coaches, the White Pigeon Village attorney, has agreed to save you $120 by dismissing the other ticket and 2 points and putting this on your driving record if you plead to allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code. Are you willing to plead to that lesser charge?
Can you a better definition of
Sure,
this?
it is a little confusing.
You know you're in for a weird one when even the judge is like, yeah, it's confusing. I get it.
The charge you're charged with is not having a valid operator's license. That's a misdemeanor. It carries 2 points and it goes on your driving record. Let's take a look at your driving record.
Well, I'm practicing under the constitutional right to travel.
All right, this is such an interesting one to me. So, there is no constitutional right to travel in regards to vehicles. There is a constitutional right to travel, as in on foot, and I believe horses and things like that. But it is quite an interesting concept, simply because we consider modern press, modern media, TV, stuff like that under the First Amendment protection. But we don't consider the constitutional right to travel, we don't protect vehicle travel. It seems kind of, I don't want to say hypocritical because that's not the right word, but it seems odd that we can't hold the same standard across both of them. Now, that being said, I do understand why we do it. If we didn't have people registering their vehicles, this would turn into Mad Max pretty bad. Well, let's get back to it.
Your license is expired. And you don't have a valid license. And I heard you whisper to Mr. Stickley, you have a constitutional right to travel. That's true. You don't have a constitutional right to drive a car with no driver's license. So people come in with this half-cocked, cockamamie, Jabberwocky idea that they're their own country and they don't need a driver's license or a proper plate to drive. Well, in this state, you do. So the prosecutor has agreed to dismiss these. It won't go on your driving record, won't carry any points, and he's dismissing the plate violation. So it will save you about $250 maybe.
That's insane. This is probably the easiest case I've ever seen, or the easiest they've gone on someone trying to claim the right to travel and drive a vehicle. And the judge is 100% right in what he called out. It's not legal. Now, whether or not we agree that that should be the case doesn't matter. The fact is, it is illegal, and people should stop trying to use the excuse of, well, it shouldn't be illegal. Well, yeah, doesn't matter if it should or shouldn't. The fact is that it is illegal, fortunately. So, pay your dues and move on.
$200 anyway, and no points. So it's up to you. If you wish to plead guilty to the lesser charge, you can do that. Or if you wish to plead not guilty, I'll simply set the matter for a trial. What would you like to do, sir?
Seeing my circumstances of what I'm dealing with, what's the second option you stated? The
Plead to
confusing one?
allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code. It's a legal fiction. It's you, the other you're allowing to violate the motor vehicle code is yourself. But the lawyers use it because it doesn't carry any points.
No problem.
It doesn't go on your driving record and won't affect your ability to get your license back if you wish to do that.
No problem.
So that's option 2. The other option is to plead not guilty, and I'll set the matter for a trial.
I'll take the second option. The one you state that's confusing.
Okay, plead to allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code.
Yes, yeah.
I can understand not comprehending how that law even got put into place. Like, oh yeah, you're getting in trouble for allowing someone else to violate the law, but they're not getting in trouble for violating it themselves. And we're just going to use it so you don't actually get in any real trouble. You just pay us money. Ooh, that sounds like something else we're not going to discuss today. Moving on.
Yes.
All right. Where were you going that day?
I was traveling to my bank,
Okay,
which
and
is a
is
block
your
away.
driver's license expired?
I don't have a license.
All right, that's good enough. Now, you had a driver bring you today?
Yes.
Very good. Well, this will save you $120 off of that. What do you do, sir? What's your occupation?
Security.
Very good. You still live in White Pigeon?
Yes.
White Pigeon's a little town. If they see you driving, they'll pull you over again. Just a word of caution.
That's really cool, the judge. He knows this guy's not really going to follow the law. He's made it pretty clear that he just, no, I'm going to do what I want. But judge recognizes small town behavior and is like, yeah, you're just going to keep getting in trouble. Please don't. I don't want to see you here again.
So the fine's $100. There's no points. It won't show up on your driving record. The state costs are $125, so it's $225. But this won't appear on your record. Do you need some time to pay that?
Yes.
How much time do you need?
It could be Friday.
Oh, I'll give you more time than that. Can you pay it by October 5th?
Certainly.
Okay, that's 225, 10, 5, 23. We give you the rest of August and most of September. All right, sir, you're good to go. Priscilla, I'm gonna need your help. I've got at least one interpreter case.
Just been advised.
Okay, and Frank's no help. Well, that was the right choice for that gentleman.
All right.
Wow.
The chuckles at
Mr.
it.
George, let's take care of your cases. You have to be two places at once?
Yes, sir.
Where's the other place?
Next door.
He can just wait. You do have a couple of prelims for this afternoon. Are we gonna have a prelim on that Wright case?
I'm gonna talk with him.
How about Donnie Warner?
I have to talk to Dave, and see what the status of that.
Okay. Well, let's take care of the Three Rivers ordinance cases. John Kendall Lewis III. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I like your shirt.
Thank you.
Okay, that is Malcolm X. All right, a man of culture. For those that don't know, Malcolm X is ahead of his time. Dude was hyper intelligent. Yeah.
You know what year that is?
Huh?
Do you know what year that is?
No, I'm not sure.
I'm saying about 1962.
It was way before my time.
Well, I was there in 62, but I wasn't too with it. It's about 7 years old. All right, Mr. Lewis, you've got a ticket for being a disorderly person in the city of Three Rivers on July 27th. That's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. The normal fine for disorderly person is $75 plus the state costs for a total of $200. How do you plead to that charge?
Guilty.
All right, were you in the city of Three Rivers that
Yes.
day?
Yes.
Tim, was this a public urination case?
Your Honor, I didn't have it on my calendar for today.
Tell me what happened.
Man, imagine showing up to court and them going, "Yeah, we don't have you on the calendar for today." Oof, that would be embarrassing and fill me with tons of anxiety. That's for sure.
Ended up drinking a little bit too much at the party, and yeah, it was tried to walk home, but didn't make it.
All right. Where's Winterwood Lane?
Near the new high school, a little bit past, like going towards Ash Road.
I'm not familiar with it.
They just building the houses out there.
Okay. All right. I'll accept your plea. Sometimes when you do a dumb thing, the best thing is just accept responsibility for it and move on. Now, you were at South Main and 4th Street. What were you doing over that direction?
I was coming from over by a friend's house.
Where were you walking to?
I was trying to go back to the house.
That's a pretty
That
long
was-
walk.
Yeah, that was the plan. Is trying to make it back to the house.
Did you spend the night in jail?
Yeah, I spent 4 days,
4
5
days.
4 or 5 days.
Let's take a look. Can't tell from what I'm looking at. Did you have another charge?
Child support.
Okay. You would normally do 4 days for this, but all right, $75 fine, $75 crime victims' rights fee, and a $50 state minimum fee. $200, as I told you. Other than this plea agreement, did anybody promise you anything to get you to plead to this? Or threaten you?
No.
All right, you need some time to pay that?
Yes.
October 5th.
You like how the judge is giving these guys plenty of time to pay, trying not to impact their actual lives. Because we don't want to take these small cases and turn it into something worse where someone ends up homeless or ends up so far in debt that they'll never succeed. So it's nice to see a judge taking care of the community.
All right, either stay where you're at or get a ride home and you won't end up with this kind of stuff. You're good to go.
Thank you.
Well, that was pretty straightforward and simple on that last one, everyone. By the end of the session, both cases are resolved, but they leave very different impressions. The second defendant owns up to what happens and takes responsibility and moves forward. Simple, direct, over and done with quick. But the first case is what sticks. When someone comes into court with an argument that doesn't match reality, it doesn't take long for the judge to step in and reset the situation. At the end of the day, court isn't the place for theories. It's about what actually applies under the law. And this was a clear example of how quickly that line gets drawn here on Daily Courtroom Drama. If you want to see more real courtroom moments like this, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.